Hi, I'm Sophie. Welcome to my 30-minute yoga flow class with a belt. So you will need, as the name suggests, a yoga belt or a dressing gown belt or something similar to take part in today's class. And of course your yoga mat. So when you're ready, let's get started. Let's start today's class sitting up nice and tall, cross-legged or kneeling. Making yourself comfortable here, anchoring down through the sit bones and lifting out through the crown of the head. Inhaling, shrug the shoulders up towards the ears and exhaling through the mouth as you release them down to the waist. Inhaling, shoulders to the ears. Exhaling, shoulders away, feeling the length and space in the neck. And let's do one more of those. Inhaling, lift the shoulders around the ears. Exhaling, shoulders slide down towards the waist. The arms rest heavy. Maybe closing the eyes here as we take a few breaths to settle in. Allow the skin and the muscles of the face to soften and release. And from here, let's breathe in through the nose, taking your breath down into the belly and feeling the belly softly expand as you breathe in. And the belly releases and relaxes as you breathe out. And we'll take a few more breaths here, allowing the breath to flow freely in and out. And just using this opportunity to center yourself here on your mat. With your next inhale, interlacing the fingers, take your hands behind the base of the skull with the thumbs tracking either side of the neck. On an exhale, draw the chin down towards the chest without pulling on the head. Inhaling, lift the chest, spread the collarbone, support the head in the hands as you look up. And exhaling, chin towards the chest, draw the elbows slightly further in towards shoulder distance. Inhaling, lifting up, elbows back, open the heart, and exhaling, chin towards the chest. I'm going to do that one more time. Inhaling to lift, feel the shoulder blades plug into the upper ribs and open the chest. And then exhaling, let's just take the hands to the shoulders and just rest your fingertips on the shoulders as you draw big circles here with the elbows, waking up the shoulders. And let's reverse and go the other way, taking the elbows back behind you. Small squeeze of the shoulder blades here before the elbows come forwards and around the front. Let's take an inhale, reach the arms up, grow tall. Press the palms to the ceiling, and then we'll exhale and lean over to one side, anchoring down the opposite sit bone. Inhaling, coming back to center, and exhaling over to the other side. Let's do that one more time. Inhale, make yourself as tall as you can. Keep that length and exhale, leaning over to one side. Inhaling back to center and exhaling to the other side. Inhaling back to the middle. Taking the arms back behind you, holding on to your forearm or your opposite elbow crease, rolling your shoulders back, and then just tip the head over to one side. Careful not to lift the shoulder here. And then let's come back into the center, and on an exhale, allow the ear to drop towards the shoulder on the other side. Keep the chest open and the shoulders rolled back. Coming back to the middle, bringing your hands down in front and making your way onto all fours. So finding a place here where the wrists are directly underneath the shoulders, the hands are spreading wide. Stacking your knees directly underneath your hips. Let's take a few cat-cows here to release the spine. On an exhale, tuck your toes under, tuck the tailbone under, start to curl through the spine as you look towards the navel. On an inhale, push the feet away so the tops of the feet are on the mat. Tailbone tips towards the ceiling and we're looking forwards towards the front of our mat. Exhaling, tuck in the toes, the tailbone, curling through the spine, look to the belly. Inhaling, lifting the heart towards the front of your mat. tailbone tips slightly towards the ceiling. And let's do one more of those, taking a cat-cow on an exhale. On an inhale, coming through to cow. Exhaling, rounding into cat, and sit back to your heels on tucked toes. And stretching your arms out in front. From here, let's just walk our hands over towards the front right corner of our mat. So we'll stack the left palm on top of the right, and as you reach to the front right corner, just slide off the side of your left calf. Take an inhale, breathing into the left side of the rib cage, and on an exhale, walk it back to center. Walking your left hand over to the left corner of your mat and take your right palm and stack it on top. This time we're sliding the hips off the right calf without coming down to the mat. So you want to grip slightly with the fingertips here, just falling to the side of the calf. Coming back into the center and then making your way back up onto all fours. Let's take hold of the belt and bring yourself to high knees. So we have the knees stacked directly underneath the hips and hips stacked underneath the shoulders. So you can place a folded blanket here underneath the knees if you're on a hard surface. Bringing the belt out in front and holding the belt taut, taking the belt to chest level. Keeping this upright position, draw your navel towards your spine, and we're going to lean back into a Z shape here, keeping the fronts of your hips open. And then coming back to center and reaching the belt over the crown of the head. The arms stay straight. We inhale, lean back, and then we exhale, lift up the arms over the crown of the head. As you inhale, the arms lower in front of the chest, and then as you exhale, the arms lift. Let's do that one more time here, using the fronts of your thighs to stop you from falling back, and then pulling on the fronts of the thighs to bring you back to center. Keeping the belt straight, let's banana over to one side and press the hips over to the other side, and then on an exhale, coming back to center. Inhaling, reaching over in the opposite direction, keep your shoulders back, your chest open, and exhale back to center. One more time here, reach away with the belt, keep the arms long, press the hips away to the opposite direction, back to center on an exhale. Inhaling over to the other side, press the hips away, and then exhaling back to center. Bringing the belt down in front of you now across the top of your mat, lifting the knees and take the hips back to downward facing dog. From here, let's float forwards back into a tabletop position, wrists and shoulders in line, knees underneath the hips, and exhale, take it back, downward facing dog. As you come into tabletop, you can choose to soften the knees down to the mat or keep them hovering from the floor. Inhaling, stay with the knees soft as you walk back to ragdoll, walking your hands back towards your feet, holding on to the opposite elbow crease. Let the knees bend deep enough that you can fold forwards, bringing your belly towards your thighs, and just give a little sway from side to side. Taking the hands down to the mat as you walk forwards into a plank position, stacking your wrists and shoulders, and lower your knees to the floor and sit back to child's pose. Taking your right leg and lunging your right foot to your right thumb, take hold of your belt, keeping the belt tight and taking a slightly wider grip than your shoulders. You can always widen the grip on the belt if you need to. Take the belt above the crown of the head, draw your navel towards your spine and pull the belt behind the head as you draw your forearms back and bend your elbows in line with your shoulders, lifting the chest. On an inhale, straighten back up to the center. Exhaling, draw the forearms to the back of the mat, squeeze the shoulder blades slightly, and inhaling, lifting up. So make sure the movement comes here from the upper back and you're not tipping your pelvis forwards to get that lift. Bringing the belt down in front of you and step back to plank position. Lower the knees to the floor and then draw your nose and pubic bone to the floor at the same time with an exhale. Now reaching the belt out in front so the arms are by the ears. Take a wider grip on the belt so the arms are reaching for the corners of your mat. From here, let's come up into Cobra, lifting the arms, head and chest together on an inhale. Feet stay on the mat. and exhaling, lower back down. Bring the hands underneath the shoulders, tuck the toes, press up to half plank, back to child's pose, and then step forwards with your left foot. So left foot to left thumb, reaching the belt up and overhead. Keep your hip points facing towards the front of your mat. Draw your navel towards your spine, pulling the belt apart. Once again, lower the elbows down in line with the shoulders. Pull the forearms back and open the chest, and then lift the arms back overhead on an exhale. Inhaling, pull back, and exhaling to lift up. One more time here. Opening the chest, spreading the collarbones and lifting the heart, and then releasing back to center. Taking the belt down in front, and let's press back to downward facing dog or child's pose. Keeping the knees soft here if you need to, and allow the heels to melt down towards the mat. You can choose to take a pedal through the feet as we walk the dog, ball heel, ball heel. Coming high onto the balls of both feet on an inhale, and on an exhale, soften both heels towards the mat. Floating your right leg up and back behind you, keeping the hip, the knee, and the toes pointing down towards the mat. Now let's lunge that right leg all the way through to the front, bending the knee, drawing it under to the belly, to the chest, and then pull the foot forward to the right thumb, helping it through if you need to. Stacking your right knee directly over your right ankle. Coming up to warrior one on the ball of the foot, making sure you're hip distance apart here with the legs, soft bend in the back knee, stacking your shoulders and your hips. On an inhale, press the legs straight and reach the belt in front, chest level. On an exhale, soften the back knee. Start to take the arms back behind you, widen the grip on the belt if you need to, and keep the arms straight. On an exhale, coming forwards again, back into those straight legs, arms in line with the chest. So we're just moving back and forth here. You can start to lower that back knee down towards the mat a little more, lunging warrior one, or just stay lifted. On your next exhale, let's press the belt up and overhead as we straighten the back leg and hover your chest from your front thigh, arrow pose, pulling that belt taut. Take the hands down to the floor and step back to downward facing dog. Take a few breaths here, finding a nice easy breath through the nose. Gazing towards the big toes, softening the heels towards the mat. Inhaling, take up the left leg back behind you, three-leg dog. Lunging the leg through to the front, bending the left knee and curling the knee to belly, knee to chest, and then drawing the foot to the left thumb. Again, stacking the knee directly over the ankle as you come up to warrior one on the ball of the foot. Straightening the legs on an inhale and bring the arms to chest level. And then on that exhale, widening the grip if you need to, as you drop down here to lunging warrior one. Take the arms back behind you. Inhaling, coming to pyramid legs, arms in front of the chest, and exhaling back to lunging warrior one. Keeping a soft bend in the elbows. We want to keep the arms as straight as we can as we go back. And then let's find arrow pose as the arms come back overhead and reach out to the front corners of your mat. Dropping your chest so it just hovers from the front thigh. Lowering your hands down to the mat, let go of the belt and take it back to downward facing dog or child's pose. Taking this opportunity here once again just to connect back to the breath. Floating your left leg up and back behind you for three-leg dog, keeping your shoulders and your hips square to the front. Bending your left knee and lunging the left foot through to the left thumb. Stepping on your belt so the ball of the foot is resting on the belt, and then taking the belt just to the left side of your mat. Stepping forward with your right foot, feet parallel, and squat the weight back behind your heels. Take the belt into the left hand, right hand on the hip, leading with the chest, lift up to an upright position, bringing the knee in line with the hip. From here, without tucking the tailbone under, let's extend that left leg out. Soften the left elbow crease and draw the shoulders back and down, reaching out through the ball and the heel of the left foot as we come into a variation of hand to big toe pose. Keeping the leg as straight as you can and a taut hold on the belt, we're going to start to lower that left leg straight down to the mat. Tap down here if you need to, otherwise keep the foot lifting as we swing the leg back behind us, pushing the foot into the belt, and then reaching the crown of the head forwards as we find warrior 3. Tabletop position here if you can, maybe reaching that right arm out by the ear. If not, leave it reaching for the back of your mat. Drawing your navel towards your spine as you exhale, pull everything back into the center, release the belt, sit the hips back to chair, and then fold forwards over your thighs, hands to floor, finding plank position. On your next exhale, press your hips back to downward facing dog. And let's go straight to the other side, lifting the right leg up and back behind you, bending the knee as we lunge that leg all the way through to the front, hugging the knee under to the belly, under to the chest, and then drawing that foot forwards to the right thumb. Taking the belt underneath the ball of the right foot, and then just taking the belt over to the right side of your mat. Stepping forwards with your left foot, taking hold of the belt with a tight grip in the right hand. Lifting up, leading with the chest so we're not rounding through the spine. You keep that leg connected to you as you come up. And then start to lengthen the leg away, reaching out through the heel. And again, keeping that soft bend in the right elbow crease and drawing the shoulders back and down. Take an inhale here, finding a focal point in front. And then on the exhale, let's start to slide the belt along the hand. So again, we're keeping that tight grip on the belt, keeping the belt taut as it comes underneath us, swinging that right leg back behind us, finding warrior 3, keeping both arms reaching for the back of your mat, or again, taking your left arm by your left ear. So we want to press the foot into the belt as if you're pressing into a wall. Take one more in-breath here. And then on an exhale, let's start to lift back up to center. So drawing that leg straight underneath and bringing the crown of the head up towards the ceiling. Sinking back to chair and then folding forwards over the thighs, releasing the belt and stepping to plank. Exhaling back into downward facing dog or child's pose, and take a few breaths here. Inhaling, floating the left leg up and back behind you, 3-leg dog. Exhaling, bending the knee and lunging the foot forwards to the front. Finding arrow pose here on the ball of the back foot, taking the belt just in line with the crown of your head, arms are straight and chest is lifting a few inches from the front thigh. Exhaling, lift the torso to upright, stacking your shoulders and your hips. Turning the chest to your open side, bending your front knee over the ankle and back foot pigeon-toed in slightly. Take the belt loop with an open grip, so palm faces open on your sacrum, gripping the belt. Take the top arm, reach the elbow point towards the ceiling, and take the palm so it faces in towards the body, taking a tricep stretch here. Turning the chest so it faces towards the front of your mat, and we can begin to work the hands towards one another. So the belt is working as an extension of your arms, and eventually maybe the hands will meet. Taking an inhale, lifting through the chest, keeping the navel drawn gently towards the spine. On an exhale, slide the back hand, still with an open grip, down to your sacrum if it's not there already. And now lengthen out the front arm, reaching up by the ear, and lean over that front thigh. Open your chest towards your open side and roll your shoulders back. Make the body as long as you can from back heel to front hand. On an exhale, let's start to come all the way up and then turn to your open side, pigeon toe, both feet slightly in. Taking the belt in both hands, palms facing up. Let's open the chest towards the ceiling, pull back on the belt, inhale. Exhale, draw the chest forwards, finding a tabletop position in this wide leg forward fold. From here you can choose to take a full forward fold, bringing the pelvis over the thighs, and then bringing the arms up and overhead to the ground in front. Keeping that belt nice and taut here. You can always release the belt if you need to, bringing hands to shins or hands to floor. On an exhale, coming back to a tabletop position, lifting the chest and then leaning your body weight over into a side lunge to the left leg. Weight sits back behind the toes. From here, just releasing the belt, bring the hands to the floor. Come around to the front of your mat and then step back to downward facing dog. I'm just going to quickly switch sides on my mat so I don't have my back to you when we do the other side. Taking a few breaths here, reconnecting to the breath back through the nose. Softening the skin, the muscles of the face. And let's get ready to go to the other side. Taking your right leg back behind you for 3-leg dog. Reaching back through the heel. Bending the knee and drawing the leg underneath the body, bringing the right foot to the right thumb. Coming up into arrow pose, and again we're reaching the belt over the crown of the head. Arms are long, wider grip than our shoulders, so we can slide the shoulders away from the ears. On your next exhale, pressing up, opening the chest to your open side, bending the front knee over the ankle, finding your warrior 2, pigeon toe that back foot in slightly. Coming into that tricep stretch, open grip, hand on the sacrum for that back hand, gripping the belt. Top hand, your palm faces in, gripping the belt, and we're lifting the elbow point up towards the ceiling, turning your chest towards the front left corner of your mat or the front of your mat. Hug the navel gently back towards the spine and keep the pelvis so that it's nice and level here, so we're not overarching in the lower spine. Want to hug the belly back the entire time. Keep breathing nice and easy through the nose. Coming into our variation of side angle pose. On an exhale, reaching that front arm forwards and up by the ear. Relax the shoulders. Back hand slides down to the sacrum. Open the chest to your open side and roll that back shoulder open. Leaning over that front thigh, take one more inhale, grounding through the back foot, and then exhale, press all the way up, turning to your open side. Again, pigeon toe the feet in slightly, taking the belt loop back behind you, palms open. Inhaling, opening the chest, squeeze the shoulder blades towards one another a little. And then exhaling, coming forwards into a tabletop position, pulling the belt apart and reaching the arms back. Stay in tabletop, or with your next exhale, folding forwards, moving the pelvis over the thighs and reaching the arms overhead to the floor in front. Taking one more inhale here. On the exhale, using the arms as a lever as they reach back and you come to tabletop position. Lean your body weight over towards the right into a side lunge. Weight is back behind the toes. And then hands come down as you release the belt. Walk around lunging to the front and step both feet to the front of your mat. And now let's sit down in the center of our mat. Take hold of your belt and just loop it around the balls of both feet. So you're gripping the belt in both hands, bending the knees. And then we'll lift the feet up off the mat and keep a lift in the chest, just finding your balance here just towards your tailbone. Lifting the legs so the knees are bent to 90 and the heels are in line with the knees. So spreading the toes here so we're not squishing the feet, and have a tight grip on that belt to keep a soft bend in the elbows. Now seeing if you can extend your knees here, so we're just straightening the legs as much as you can, keep the chest lifted, and then bending them back to 90 degrees. And then one more time here, let's extend the legs up, keep lifting the chest. Now maybe you can bend the elbows out to the side and draw the legs and chest towards one another a little more. Great stuff. And then from here, let's release the knees to 90 degrees again. Keeping this tabletop position, tuck the tailbone under and start to roll down through the spine until the head is down on the mat. Extending both legs up over the hips, and then take the belt just around the ball of the right foot. Take the belt in both hands and extend the left leg away. So if you find this is too much, you can always bend that left knee and have the foot flat on the floor. Otherwise, you're extending the leg away. Both legs are straight. Left thigh is trying to melt down into the mat here. And then that right heel is reaching up for the ceiling. So either sliding your hands down the belt and having your upper arms resting on the mat, shoulders heavy, or taking a longer grip on the belt with a soft bend in the elbows. We're working the toes back towards the face and extending out through the heel. Feeling the stretch in the back of the right thigh and the calf. Now taking the belt loop just in your right hand, and take cactus arm with your left arm, elbow in line with the shoulder, forearm rest back, or if you have the space, reach the arm out completely to the side. Anchoring down through your left shoulder and start to open up your right leg to the side. Now we only want to go as far as you can without the left hip lifting off the mat. So really anchoring down through that left side of the body. On an exhale, coming back through to the center, taking the belt loop again in both hands, and then let's lift that left leg up so that we can swap sides. Bringing the left ball of the foot into the belt and extending away through the right heel. Again, if you need to, bending that right knee, bringing the foot flat to the mat. Extending up and away through the left heel, drawing the toes down towards you. And think about reaching your tailbone long to the front of the mat. The shoulders here are melting into the floor, and there's no tension at all in the face. So just check you're not clenching your teeth here. Now let's take the left leg out to the side. So taking the belt just in the left hand and reaching out either cactus arm or fully out to the side with your right arm. Anchoring down through the right hip and the right shoulder as you release that left leg over to the left. Keeping the leg as straight as you can here. Reaching out through the heel, a gentle draw back of the toes. Keeping the chest open and the elbow crease soft as you grip that belt. So we don't want to pull the shoulder out or hyperextend the elbow here. Taking one more breath in. And then slowly on an exhale, draw navel to spine and bring that leg back over the hip. Let's slide the belt through the arms as we reach that left leg long and bring the heel all the way down to the mat. Sliding the legs in so the knees are bent, the feet are flat to the mat. Let's just release the wrists. So taking hold of one wrist quite firmly and opening up your hand as much as you can. So spreading the fingers and then creating a fist and then spreading the fingers and then back to a fist and then wiggling the fingers individually and then holding on to the wrist as you circle around, creating a loose fist, circling one way with the hand and the other. So just making sure you do both sides here, releasing in the wrist, releasing in the fingers. You may find that if you had too tight a grip on the belt that you experience pins and needles in the hands. So it's just a matter of learning to relax a little more when we're gripping that belt. Coming into our final relaxation here. So you can choose to either keep your knees bent and walk your feet so they're open as wide as your mat, buckling your knees in towards one another for support. Or you can take your legs long with your feet open as wide as the mat and allow the legs to roll out naturally in the hip sockets. Taking your arms away from the body with your palms upturned, open and receptive. Maybe choosing here to close the eyes or just soften your gaze towards your nose. And just taking this moment here in your final relaxation as a chance to allow your body to absorb your practice today. And just to notice how you're feeling both physically and mentally. Closing the mouth if you can and breathing solely through the nose. Relaxing the entire body and allowing the weight of the body just to melt into the mat. As you inhale, breathing down into the belly and watching the belly rise. On the exhale, the belly softens and releases. And just beginning to find a nice, steady, easy rhythm with the breath. Keeping everything soft and relaxed. On your next exhale, take a deep sigh through the mouth. Toe heel your feet in towards one another and hug the knees in towards the chest. Of course, stay here for as long as you need to. Otherwise, we're coming up to seated, either rolling to the side, pressing yourself to seated, or just rocking backwards and forwards to come up to seated. Sitting up nice and tall, take an in-breath, reach the arms up and overhead, palms together. Exhaling, bringing the hands down in front of the chest, sealing in our practice today. Please let me know how you got on using the comments boxes below and subscribe to the channel so you're the first to know when I post new videos. Thanks again and I hope to see you again soon.